I just got a question to ask y'all. Did you enjoy the last high-level conversation that I had with Baba Haru? It was a lot of supreme breakdowns in that show. I enjoyed it immensely, sitting there talking with the Baba, the OG. You know, that brother has he has a lot of history. He has a lot of story. It's like everybody has the Ankhs today. But back in his day, it was controversial to wear an Ankh. And most people don't know what it means. And so that's why I thought it was important that we start breaking down some of these symbols, right? Because symbols without substance is ritual without purpose. So you have to know what you're doing if you're going to do it in order for it to matter, right? In order for it to have the power, right? Oh, there's allergies out here. Air in New York City. I gotta head to Harlem and go check out the Apollo Theater for May 4th because there's gonna be a lot of science in the building that day. Oh, listen, this ain't never even happened before. Like, I think the last time they had like situations like this at the Apollo was in the 90s. I was looking up some articles, you know, and the actually May 6th, you know, May 4th. So right in that 5th month is that very powerful frequency when you're ready for higher communication. So you got to make sure you got that in your life. You feel me? So being able to bring back that energy, and that was the 90s. That was 1995. You know, he was announcing the Million Man March at that time, right? So we may have an announcement that day as well, inshallah, something that we're working on, something big. But it's going to be a beautiful evening, you know. If you're traveling and you coming in town, it's going to be worth it. If you live in a city and you want to experience the Apollo, and I'm not just talking about when it's an entertainment there, man, I'm talking about when the gods is outside, it's going to be different. You feel me? So I look forward to seeing everybody that show up, and I just want to thank y'all for y'all continued support with the high-level conversations. Because I believe that as long as you all continue to stream, continue to watch, continue to share, continue to comment, continue to like, we can continue to build, right? No sermon is worth its weight in salt if there are no ears to hear the frequency of truth, you know? So as long as somebody is listening, then it has all of the value in the world. But if nobody is listening, the truth has no value. That's the thing about, you know, the truth. It's the thing about, you know, reality. So that's why I thank y'all and I appreciate y'all, and I'm humbled by you. Continued support and the time that it has been, the short time that we've been around, and we're working on increasing the budget now and getting even increasing the quality of our production to get all the lies. For real, for real. Somebody say, I need to know if you're really messaging me. No, it is not me. This is why I got the little blue ticker. So if you don't see the little blue ticker, you know it's not me. All right, it's only one page. You shouldn't come to this page and ask me if I'm messaging you from another page. I wouldn't need to do that. I would just message you from this page if it was real. So, you know, I'm actually always surprised by the amount of people who are fooled by, you know, the scammers that do that, you know. But I've had a beautiful weekend. A lot of revelations this weekend, you know, a lot of ups and downs, but it's necessary ups and downs. You know, like my older brother, I ain't talked to him in a minute. You know, he called me today, and that lightened up the load on my heart today. So that was good. So I thank Allah for that. You know, I think this is a time, like going into the tourist season, this is where my power comes from. You know what I'm saying? Like, power comes from Allah. My name, Jibril, as you can see up there, means strength from God. So, you know, if you ever see me with some power, right, it's because I get it directly from God. I don't ask myself for nothing. I don't ask man for nothing. I don't ask nobody for nothing. I get it straight from the source. You know, so I ain't really got to struggle. When you let go and you let God, it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's beautiful. You just gotta, like, really hold that in. You know? But I heard some wisdom by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan today, and he said, you know, you can have the greatest seed in the world, but if the soil is not ready, if the soil is not worth anything, then the seed won't take. Nothing will grow. So it's like, you can have truth, you can have knowledge, right? And sometimes we're so happy that we have the seeds, but we might not have fertile soil of the mind in order for those seeds to actually grow and become us. And so I was thinking about that today. It's like, you have to make sure that the soil is rich, right? That your mind is rich. You have to make sure you have a mind that has the ability to grow from the things it goes through, the thing it absorbs, that which it hears, the lessons that it adheres to. So we have a world of a bunch of knowledgeable people. They have the seeds, but they ain't got the soil, right? And I'm a person that, you know, sometimes the seeds take, sometimes the seeds don't take. And now I'm in this season of making sure that my soil is rich. He said the way they measure good soil is they go and they grab a clunk of dirt, right? The farmers will grab a big clunk of dirt on the land and they'll pull it up and see if there's any worms in there. And by the liveliness of the worms jumping around, you can tell the liveliness of the soil, right? Because the worms will kill 90% of the toxicity in the soil, right? And so those worms are like, it's the filtering process. When you hear truth, it should move you, right? You shouldn't be a dead person that hears truth and they stubborn, right? It's not the outside that matters. It's what's going on inside that matters, right? Like, the truth should make you move. So when I see people who move off the truth, who execute, who allow the truth to become them, right? Those are people who have good soil. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was a good word. I thought I'd share it with you all. Because that's my word of the day. You know, like, don't be so caught up in the greatness of the seeds if there's no richness in the soil. That's the word. You know what I'm saying? Where's my pulpit? Where's my rostrum? You know what I'm saying? Where's my collection plate? I was taking this, the way I study, man, I take notes as I study, and I don't take notes on everything, just the stuff that really just pops out at me. That's like, you got to hold on to this one, because if you do, it can help you. It can be a guide, you know. And it was something else that he said. He said, woman is the kin to God's mind, right? And it was a lecture called The Divine Value of the Woman. And it's a great, amazing lecture. I'm almost all the way through it. Been listening to it all day. It's like 3 hours long. But that's what I do sometimes. I pick up a teaching like that for the day, and I dissect it, and I go through it, and I listen for the words that pop out to me. I listen to the teachings that come to me that tells me this the missing piece. Because for me, that which moves me, that's enriching my soil. You know what I mean? When I dropped them seeds, but he was just breaking down so much, you know, in his explanation, you know, because everything was about the exaltation, you know, of the woman and his speech. But in that exaltation, you know, is you can be proud as a man to hear it, which is the more even beautiful thing, because once you have the realization that we are interconnected, that we are, you know, reliant upon each other, we are equal but different, right? And in that difference, you have to understand, you know, that difference is what makes us equal. I'll explain it like this. Man has physical strength over a woman all day long. She is not his equal physically by strength. But the woman has a womb. She can give birth. She has an innate strength within herself when it comes to, you know, the ability to, you know, withstand pain. That is a strength that can be considered equal to man's strength or greater, because all men ain't strong anyway. But when you think about equality, right? And I think what people have to understand is we always thinking about everything being equal. No, you're focusing on your strength, but you're not focusing on her strength, right? Because you don't want those to come out to be equal. So it's like when one person brings something to the table and you bring something to the table, now y'all have created equality at that table, right? You may have brought the table, may have brought the food, but she may have cooked it. That's her equality that she brings to the table. And so being able to take a perspective like that and an attitude like that allows us to generate better relationships, I believe. That's what I took from that today as I was listening to that word. I was like, that was powerful. I said, ooh. I like that. Because man has a great intellectual ability to deceive himself into being greater than he is, which blocks him from being as great as he can be. You know, if that makes sense to you. When you tell yourself you're greater than you are, you may not put the work in to become as great as you can be, because you may have believed that you've reached that level already. There was one more word I want to leave y'all with. What was that? It was so smooth. He said, what did he say? I thought I wrote this one down too. It was really good. He said something about the strength to be great. Then he talked about the spiritual and the moral mentality and the distinct qualities of your mind, right? As far as what makes up your character is spiritual and mental morals. Those are your foundations, right? Those are the foundations. That's the beauty of it. You know, like, I say this a lot. I'm not perfect, and I say that, and I'm not even really talking to y'all. I be talking to myself, because it's like a humility effect, right? Where it's like, don't get too ahead of yourself, right? Don't get too big-headed. Don't think too much of yourself. And it's not that you aren't great, because he said also that, you know, it's not too good to think too much of yourself, but it's worse to not think enough of yourself, right? So that's an important understanding as well, because there are a lot of people who don't think enough of themselves, you know, and we may be at this point today, but there are people who are not thinking enough of themselves, you know, and they don't know what to do because they don't know who they are. And I was listening to Baby J, she said something about, you know, nothing stronger than God. That nothing is stronger than God. We know that. But it's like, when you go through something, whether it's good, bad, you have to give that to God. You have to consult with God, right? And when you consult with God and you recognize that which you've done that is wrong, in that realization, you can be forgiven. Not that you may still not get chastisement, but in that realization, now you can become greater, right? But if you don't have the realization that that which you did was wrong, then you can't get the greatness from it, because there is reward as well as chastisement. The chastisement can be a reward. I know people that have been to jail, but man, they say jail's the best thing that ever happened to me. They said that because it slowed them down, it set them down, because they may have been on a path where they died. They did too much. But instead it set them down and said, no, I'm gonna give you grace. Because if I leave you out here, it's gonna be worse. So the beauty of it is, you realize that, you know, chastisement can be a reward, especially for the righteous, because you're gonna feel it 1,000 times more. So, you know, I'm always trying to find a reward in the chastisement. Like, all right, what is that preparing me for? You know, how is that making me greater, right? And by becoming a greater degree of good, how can I then have greater impact on the world? You know? I think that's the key to it all. Just constant elevation. Yeah, you know, but it's one of those things you have to learn to, like, we go through so much self-chastisement. That just means you're a good person. The more you feel wrong for doing wrong, the greater that is the greater, or the more pure you are, I would say, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you go to jail, and they want to let you out, they have to know that you felt the shame. They want to know that you have remorse. Like, these matter for redemption of human beings, you know? So it's like on a day-to-day basis, right? You have to provide yourself evidence of change and growth. And then you've done your time, and you can be released, and you can be free from whatever was the burden that was on your mind or heart. And that's the way the world works. That's the way the universe works. The courts just mirror the universal reality that goes on internally. That's all. It's just mirroring the process, right, of internal redemption. Right? So, you know, you get to observe the world and get to be blessed. You get to observe the world and be blessed, because everything is teaching you a lesson. Everything. You know, so yes. Oh, last word. What did he say? He said, I like that word verification. Now, we weren't talking about the verification badges. This was before all that. But he said, I like the verification because in order for something to be verified, it requires evidence, right? In order for something to be real. And so it's different than belief. Belief is, is belief in the unseen, right? It's evidence of the unseen, if you will, just by having the belief in it. Or it's not the need of the evidence, but it's completely different than verification, right? Because when you become verified by God, it's because you have showed him evidence of your goodness. You have showed him evidence of your servitude. And he put that check right over you. And then he put that protection right over you. Then he put his rewards right over you. Then you find yourself getting blessed to magnitude. Because you're walking around verified by God. So I'm working on getting my verification badge by God right now. And I believe that this journey he's taking me through this year is for me to become verified. He said, I know you, what you did, who you been this whole time, who you thought you was. Now you gotta go through the verification process. And now you go through the verification process. He said, I think you're ready, but in order for you to be ready, you have to be tested. You know what I'm saying? You have to be tried. You have to come out true. Now tell me who you are, and I'll take you through the verification process to see if that's who you really are. But in order to do that, you got to provide evidence, right? Yeah. So I said, cool. All right. But you got to remember that evidence is the work, right? Because once you put in that work, it's real. You can't fake the work. The work is every second, minute, hour, day, and that becomes you. It becomes your character overwhelmingly. So, out of these 7+ billion people on the planet Earth, I don't think none meets God's full requirement, for perfection. Everybody is working to get verified. But, some people, it's like Twitter. You get the verified blue, you get the verified gold. You know what I'm saying? You get a little verification. Like, you pay some of your dues to get the little blue. But then, in order to get that gold, man, that's different. Yeah, you walking in favor, man. Everything you touch turn to gold. And then I feel like sometimes your verification badge can come and then it may go away. You may have been verified for a season and then you may have lost your badge. Like, oh, God revoked that verification as fast as he gave it. Boy, you thought you was something, huh? Yeah, I'll let you feel it for a second to see. But see, you ain't even realize getting the badge is part of the verification process itself. Right? Because then you start walking around, hey, yeah, I got verified by God. Because now it becomes vanity. Right? So each process takes you through a different step. Right? And once you realize that it is a process, it is not a verification destination. You don't arrive. It's always process. It's always process. Gotta keep going through the process. Yeah, that part. That part. Oh, that's the beauty of life, man. I appreciate y'all today listening to me. Those are my words. I hope that they, provide some insight for the day, because this has been my thoughts for the day. Y'all have a blessed one.